I'm rambling now. Enough chitter chatter. We move on with all things Nickelodeon, starting off with our first radical ranking, which is the top teen Nick shows. Now, I categorize this as certain ways. So
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, how did you do it? Because I feel like there's some gray area.
yeah. So for me personally, for something that is going to happen later on, I didn't want things to get a little confusing. So I divided sections between certain things. And I feel like Teen Nick was kind of its own thing, right? You can say that like they were always on like
For sure.
Nickelodeon, but like they were geared to more of like the more, I guess, teen side of that
Do you think
audience, children.
do you think that's why they called it that?
I,
That would make sense.
I would have to. I
Wow.
mean,
It
That guy
makes
deserves a
sense.
raise.
He's
so,
pretty creative with it too.
you know, sometimes you just got to roll with the punches of what you got, right? So, yeah, let's get right into this, boys. First radical ranking, top 10 teen Nick shows.
Mind blown.
And
Yeah.
I know,
Zach is
know
mind
that-
blown as well as I was, Austin. Sorry to cut you off, but I just want to let you know he's
That's all right.
also mind blown. So
number 5 is more of the one of the more recent ones on this list. Number 5 is iCarly.
so this one this one's so good, Austin. Like it's tough to be at
I
5.
know, believe me, I know.
I think that one of the most universally cool things about this and Victorious and Sam and Cat and shows like that, and for the sake of hoping that one of them is on this list, I'm not going to say it, is that they kept certain aspects throughout the shows, like bits of technology. They were called pair phones instead of iPhones. Like little things like that made it be in the same universe, and I loved.
Yeah, I mean, and you just had like the kind of this show was kind of more, I think, experimental than most Nickelodeon or Teen and Nickelodeon and Teen Nick shows were for like live action kind of things. Personally, you have, the story based around, I mean, most people know this, but I feel like I'm speaking to the choir if I don't say something. That all it revolves around like the webcast that they are doing, and it's getting popular and people want to be on it and all these different segments. And then just it revolves around just like kind of just very teen angst things that go into it, relationships and, how you treat your friends and everything. And obviously you have bare-chested Gibby, which will be a meme to the end of time.
Gibby was banging Emily Ratajkowski in this show. Not banging. They were dating.
Listen, man,
Emily Ratajkowski was in the show.
when he falls and just yells Gibby and then just smacks the floor.
Yep.
I think I legitimately thought in the show that he might have been concussed.
Oh, there's a good chance.
Should have been.
Chance of that.
Should have been. Yeah, Zach, look it up. Emily Ratajkowski was a girl in their class, and she was Gibby's girlfriend. And and then the next time I saw her was dancing naked in a music video. Time flies.
It's amazing.
Big difference there.
It amazes what Nick and Disney Channel shows will do to their cast, as we've seen.
So, Austin, the chat is pretty shook at iCarly at 5.
I think when I get through the rest of this list, I think that most people are going to be like, I get it. So, as big as this show was for the time period and everything, and spaghetti tacos will always be a delicious treat that I personally have never tried and want to. Just had to say that.
Hey, everything's a taco if you put it in a show.
Everything's a taco.
Wow. Full circle.
But we move on from 5 to 4. And the next one is All That.
I feel like, Vo, you probably would have watched this a little bit. I watched it a little bit.
I was
but
more of a fan of All That, yeah.
The one of the more
it was basically
things,
like their SNL for kids. Basically.
Exactly where I was going to go with. The fact that Keenan is still, to this day, the longest running SNL member of all time. And Sarah comes in with a 4, and Zach comes in with a number 4. All right, guys, listen, it's a top 5. So 4 out of all of the Teen Nick shows ever is good.
It's not bad, but it'd be higher on my list.
There is one issue that we can talk about whenever we get into it of why I think it should be a little bit higher, Austin, but why is it 4?
So I kind of feel like that it kind of borrowed the whole, which I'm glad that you said that, though. It kind of copied off of the whole SNL factor, which seems kind of lame that would, be the reason for it, but it wasn't an original idea. I mean, all the sketches itself were original, but in essence, it was all about projecting a group of young stars trying to make it for like an SNL concept. And it worked, it was obviously spectacular. Look at, how all of them are doing today, minus a couple, but we'll see how that works. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Good Burger aspect came from this show,
100%.
right?
And Keenan and Kel were the biggest of their time.
Yeah. So I just want to head.
What was that other kid's name in there? Was his name Josh? One dude. He was also in Good Burger. Like half this cast was in Good Burger.
Yeah, I think it was Josh.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Josh, but I can't remember.
One of the best of the sketch comedy shows, in my opinion, like what it is. Yeah, I think that the other thing they thrived on were the people that went on to have success from it. So the Good Burger thing, obviously, but a lot of them went on to do things that you recognize them from that for what it is. Thank you, Zach. But I just love Kenan Thompson so much. The catalyst of the train wreck, we all know and love. Yeah. All right, Oz, keep going, brother.
So number 3 was actually my brother's favorite Teen Nick show, and he'll tell you this to the end of time and how popular he believed it was. Number 3 is Zoey 101. I mean, you had to look at this place and you were like, where the hell does this exist? What school in the right mind has all this place, that basically was essentially college for high school?
Yeah.
I mean,
basically.
I have a fun little bit of trivia, Austin.
Okay.
So I do not know the character names outside of Zoey. Fun fact. But oh my Jesus, Lord in heaven. Don't Smoke Pot comes in with the 5 tier 1 gifted subs. Zach should have already been subbed, you son of a gun. Maybe on Clever Bunny, Sid 2K, and Kaylee Choo Choo, the hype train. I mean, he's the conductor till the end of time. Don't Smoke Pots, thank you for the 5 gifted. My guy.
Thank you, Pots.
My guy. He says, my man Vo. Oh, man, that's awesome. The ranking's still the second highest show when it comes to what we actually get from everybody, and I think it's just because of Austin's beautiful face. But, Austin, the guy on the far right, I want to call him Simon because of the show Ned's Declassified. He's not. Or no, Cookie or whatever. I don't remember his name.
Is that the same kid?
No. But what I'm getting at is he was the first person out in the knowledge of culture to use the term drip.
Yes.
There was a clip that said everyone needs to give him credit because he has something. He goes, I'm drip. I'm dripping. Like my gears drip. And they're like, that's the stupidest thing we've ever heard of. And then the Migos came along and drip. So.
So, yeah, you're right, actually, which I completely forgotten about. The character's name is actually Michael.
Michael, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like and a lot of the, not too many of these people went out to do anything else other than this show. Yeah. And there was rumors, which it had been confirmed, I guess, that there was trying to be a reboot of the show, but instead of bringing back the old cast, they brought in TikTok stars. So that basically ended it for me. I said I was very excited for this. Now everybody's just going to be doing the Renegade.
I always wondered where their campus was. I think it was like a community college or something, but that was crazy.
Exactly, right? Like everything that they were doing, like just hanging out, like
it was like right on the ocean too, right on the beach, right?
It was like, who the hell has the money to pay for this? Yeah. Like I know there's some like pretty like
fight them,
Yeah, it's like, look at all this you have. Why don't I have this? I gotta go and learn about astronomy and shit. Like, what the hell is this?
Yep.
Like, but yeah, man. I mean, really, Victoria Justice, I want to say, is I think the only one.
Josh says it was UCLA.
Was it UCLA? I don't know.
Let's see.
I don't know about that.
It might be.
It's possible.
Zoey 101 campus. Initially filmed at Pepperdine University in Malibu, California. Then at stages in Valencia, California, beginning in season 3. So Pepperdine University.
Okay,
the school was called the Pacific Coast Academy.
That's right, PCA. Yeah, I remember that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, really, Victoria Justice was the only thing or only person to go on and do something after this. Obviously, with the success of Victorious, not really anybody else. I didn't even recognize Quinn in this cast list, who was the nerdy one, and she does not look nerdy in her photo whatsoever.
Clark Bar 18 writes in Vo with a heart face.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
Happy
That's
birthday.
Travis.
Oh, what's up, Travis?
But yeah, Jamie Lynn Spears.
That's the best Clark, not Pat.
Yeah.
Said huge. What? Oh, yeah, no, I said Travis. It says huge fan of Zoey 101. What did the CD say?
The CD.
I don't know. I'm lost.
I don't know. I watched this one, but like it wasn't one of my favorites.
I remember all I know is the theme song, how it started off when it was like, ooh, no one's see you standing there. Like it was a catchy little theme, man. I'm not gonna lie.
That wasn't too bad.
Okay.
No, well, the voice kind of, you know what I'm saying? But yes, Zoey 101 at 3. We move on to number 2, which was probably the biggest like slapstick comedy of this, aside from maybe number 1 if you count parts of it. Number 2 is The Amanda Show. Like this had so many running gags. Like this was the shit.
Well, Josh, you thought the campus was UCLA in everyone's defense. Apparently there's something about the CD joke that everyone's trying to get to. But The Amanda Show is the reason why I was saying all that should maybe be ahead of it, because without one, you can't have the other. But at the same time, yeah, Zach writes in Maha and the Dancing Lobsters. There were so many iconic moments in this show.
Yep. You had just like so many recurring scenes that happened. I mean, he's right. You had parental court, which I think it was, where kids took their parents to court.
Oh, that was such a good concept.
Dumb as shit. They were like, she made me do homework. And I was like, oh my God. You know, sentenced to like 3 years of car washing. Like, what the hell? Who even gave you a license to be a judge?
There's even things in this.
That's how real court is.
I guess so.
Well, you would know. Yeah, that's actually where are the dancing lobsters kept is what I want to know, Vo.
That is true.
In the closet, in the basement closet. We're not allowed down there.
Oh, God.
What are some of the other sketches in this, Ryan? Because I don't like. Again, Amanda's Show and all that weren't really my cup of tea. Like, there's a couple in there. The movie theater was great with the Mwaha and seeing her in there. And then the lobster.
What was his name? Kyle? Was his name Kyle?
Oh, that was Amanda's Show.
Wow. Stoner character, basically.
That was so good.
God, that was
the Hillbilly Brothers and Sisters. Wasn't that them too? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm gonna hit you over there with this.
Yeah.
That would actually happen, and I'm just like, okay.
Oh, Zach writes in the advice column.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
wow.
big for that. There was also Mr. Gullible, who she would call and like make him because like he was so gullible.
Oh man, what a show! Yeah, that deserves to be too.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy now.
It's just fun for it. Yeah, you're like, we're actually not supposed to do this. We're supposed to do that. And he's like, are you sure? And it literally just makes substitute teachers look like shit.
Yeah.
Yep. We're not that stupid, believe it or not. Like, we have sense of that. Like, come on.
Hey, somebody call Austin right now.
Too, yeah. Well, it wasn't Ask Ashley the advice column?
I believe that's what it was.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that the whole premise of the actual show, aside from the skits, was the main fan who was actually
Amanda, please.
Yeah. And she had a website and everything, and she was trying to stalk the, real Amanda Bynes, even though she was playing. It was just funny, man. I mean, there's nothing that takes us away. You also had, when the two stars who we'll get to in a little bit made their little thing with the mobsters with what was that for being in it?
Oh yeah.
Like just great lines from this man. Which brings us obviously to our number 1. And you can't go any better in the Teen Nick era than Drake and Josh.
That's the tough thing is all the people that are mad about all that. And so I think iCarly's better than Zoey 101, and there's a couple things in there. But all that at one just doesn't make sense to me when Drake and Josh is arguably the greatest show of all time.
Exactly.
There's one that I'm thinking of that is not on here.
Oh, okay. But what we got?
Keenan and Kel.
So... was that its own show, or was that a thing inside?
No, that was its own show. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an actual show. And I kind of felt like I didn't want to
snub. Zach says, yeah.
I kind of felt like I wanted to, keep it out just because I was putting all that in, everything that
it was a
basically gave it what it needed to be. But yeah, Drake and Josh
it's number one.
Yeah, it is the show.
Yeah, I mean, so many different things and quotes from this where I said it. I used to say it a lot actually, where instead of where someone would I would be like, "You want to tussle?" Just because Josh Peck would say it all the time.
Oh, Drake and so there's people coming in saying, "Are you afraid of the dark?" The spooky boys, blah blah blah, like that.
Austin's too young to do this list.
Yeah, the problem with what they're saying though is that you're not. I mean, Zoey 101 and iCarly were amazing for what they were, as shows. And Are You Afraid of the Dark? Is Are You Afraid of the Dark even teen, Nick?
Without being a jagoff.
I know we start just naming Nickelodeon shows here.
I was going to name one more, but I'll stop.
No, go ahead. You can name it.
Ned's Declassified.
So I had mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
That was also a good one.
That's one, and that was I mean, it's obviously 6 if there's a top 10.
Keenan and Kel's 7.
I mean, you had his name was Cookie, yeah, and I really don't believe, at least in my mind, that any of them went on to do anything other than that show, right? I mean, that was basically it.
Yeah.